going to start tonight with prayer and pledge. I will lead the prayer and the pledge. For those who'd like to participate, please bow your head. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking you to help us to make the conscious decisions that we need to make as it relates to our city and where we're moving forward to. Father, watch over all of our citizens as well as our workers. These things we ask in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Sylvia.
Present.
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Councilmember Balls.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Bench.
Present.
Councilmember Ostash.
Present.
Councilmember Garcia.
Present.
Councilmember Flores.
Present.
Councilmember Copeland is excused. Mayor Moore.
Present.
We have 8 members present, 1 excused. You have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you. This is a public meeting of the City Council. Audience must refrain themselves from speaking during interruption or cheering or any obnoxious behavior. I'd like to remind everyone on council to put your phones on vibrate, also your computers. Audience, I need you to do the same thing as well, please. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few announcements. A revised agenda has been issued. We're adding council communication number 37 to the consent agenda, and it is regarding the acceptance of the Native American Land Acknowledgement marker for Ojibway Island from Saginaw Valley State University. The city's waste convenience station is open the second Saturday of every month. Therefore, it will be open this Saturday, June 10th, from 8 o'clock a.m. until noon. City residents can drop off items not collected at the curbside. Yard waste pickup continues and collection is on your regular trash day. Yard waste stickers are available in the city clerk's office during regular business hours. The city splash park is open daily at 11 o'clock a.m. until 7 p.m. Portable toilets are available. However, due to limited staff, the bathrooms and changing areas will remain closed. And due to the hot, dry weather conditions, the fire department has issued a citywide ban on all outdoor burning. Mayor, we have a proclamation on our agenda, and it's declaring June as Pride Month.
I'd like to invite Audrey Wilson to come up to the podium, and anyone is with her. And it will be read by Councilman Ostash.
Thank you, Mayor. City of Saginaw proclamation, whereas the movement towards equal rights for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered LGBTQ plus people, a historic turning point occurred on June 28, 1969 in New York City with the onset of the Stonewall riots. During these riots, the LGBTQ plus citizens rose and fought against the discriminatory criminal laws that have since been declared unconstitutional. And whereas the LGBTQ Pride celebrations have taken place around the country every June to commemorate the beginning of the Stonewall riots, and whereas June is celebrated as LGBTQ plus Pride Month nationwide, and whereas Great Lakes Bay Pride, a local nonprofit to connect the LGBTQ plus and ally community to resources, education, offering networking opportunities, and advocates for the LGBTQ plus rights in the Great Lakes Bay region and beyond. And whereas our nation was founded on the principle of equal rights for all people, but the fulfillment of this promise has been long in coming for many Americans. Some of the most inspiring moments in our history have arisen from various civil rights movements that have brought one group after another from the margins to the mainstream of American society. And whereas the City of Saginaw supports the rights of every citizen to experience equality and freedom from discrimination, and on April 12th in 2021, the Saginaw City Council passed a resolution in support of recognizing the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered and queer questioning LGBTQ plus individuals as a protected class. Now therefore, I, Brenda Moore, the mayor of the city of Saginaw, do proclaim June 23rd as Pride Month and urge every resident to celebrate with our members of the LGBT+ community. Furthermore, recognizing the contributions made by members of the LGBTQ+ community and to actively promote the principles of equality, liberty, and justice. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Saginaw to be affixed to this 5th of June in the year of our Lord, 2023. I, Brenda F. Moore, Mayor of Saginaw, council members Annie Bench, Mayor Pro Tem, Michael D. Balls, George Copeland Jr., Michael Flores, Priscilla Garcia, Monique Lamar Sylvia, Bill Ostash, Reggie Williams II, and Timothy Morales, the city manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Precious. Thank you for being here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Audra Wilson from Great Lakes Bay Health Centers. You may remember me from receiving the World AIDS Day proclamation. I am also a member of the Great Lakes Bay Pride Board of Directors. I stand before you today on behalf of Great Lakes Bay Pride, and I want to thank Mayor Moore and the members of the City Council, especially my fellow board member, Bill Ostash, and the City of Saginaw for recognizing June as LGBTQ Pride Month in the City of Saginaw. Great Lakes Bay Pride is a regional LGBTQ+ resource, education, advocacy, and networking organization working across Saginaw, Bay, Midland, and Isabella counties since 2002. We do invite you to the regional community to join us in celebrating this Pride Month with events taking place in all 4 counties, including Midland, which will hold the Pride Night at the Looms on June 9th. There will be a pop-up Pride in the park in Mount Pleasant on June 10th. Great Lakes Bay Pride Festival will be held in Bay City on June 24th. And then there will be an after party and a drag show in Saginaw at the Dow, also on June 24th. If you would like to learn more about the organization, you can also visit our website at greatlakesbaypride.org. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we have another proclamation tonight, and it's declaring June 19th, 2023 as Juneteenth.
Is Ms. Hawkins here? Didn't see you in that crowd. This proclamation will be read by Councilman Balls.
Thank you. City of Saginaw proclamation. Whereas on January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation setting in motion the end of slavery in the United States. And whereas the civil rights ended with the surrender of General Lee at the Proximate Courthouse on April the 9th, 1865, and whereas this news reached Texas when the Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston Bay with the Union troops. It was on June the 19th, 1865, that he announced, "The people of Texas are informed that they're in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are set free." And whereas June the 19th marked the end of slavery and became known as Juneteenth, the oldest known public celebration of the end of slavery in the United States. And whereas Juneteenth symbolically African American freedom and celebrates the successes gained through education and greater opportunity, and whereas on a larger scale, celebration of Juneteenth remain each of us the precious promise of freedom, equality, and opportunity, which are the core of the American dream. And whereas a weekend celebration to commemorate this freedom will take place in downtown Saginaw on June the 16th, and June the 17th, activities will include a Saginaw Miss Juneteenth pageant and a parade, as well as festivals at Morley Plaza. Now therefore it be resolved, I, Brenda F. Moore, Mayor of the City of Saginaw, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2023 as Juneteenth. All urge all residents to join in this celebration of freedom. Furthermore, to recognize the contributions made by members of the African American community and become more aware of the significance of Juneteenth in the heritage of our nation and the city of Saginaw. It is with your, I have unto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Saginaw to be affixed this day on June in the year of our Lord 2023. Brenda Moore, Mayor, Councilpersons, Annie Ditch, Mayor Pro Tem, Michael Balls, George Copeland, Michael Flores, Patricia Garcia, Monique Lamar Sylvia, Bill Ostash, and Reggie Williams, and Timothy Morales, the city manager.
Good job. All right.
I'd like to thank the city council for this
You
declaration.
gotta talk into the mic. We can hardly hear you.
Well, you know I'm short now.
I know, that's why I said you gotta talk into the mic.
I'd like to thank you for this declaration recognizing Juneteenth. This is our second year, and we hope to continue celebrating and making it a grand event in Saginaw, Michigan.
Madam Clerk?
Mayor, we are now at public input.
Speakers will remain courteous and respectful at all times. You'll be called to the podium by the city clerk. You have 3 minutes to speak. We now have a time clock. We now have a time clock for the 3 minutes, so people don't have to wonder anymore. It's a clock. And the clerk will keep the time. When your 3 minutes are up, I'll give you a couple of seconds to wrap up your closing comment. Please, again, please be courteous and respectful when others are speaking. Madam
Our
Clerk.
first speaker tonight is Geraldine Swift. No Geraldine? Rhonda Sanders.
Hello, good evening.
One moment, please. Okay, Rhonda, go ahead.
I'm here to speak on public safety and policy violation. My daughter passed away June 5th of 2021, and my 17-year-old grandson came to Arizona to live with me. And after she passed away, his great-grandmother passed away. And he was here in Saginaw for her funeral, her homegoing service, and he was unlawfully arrested by the Saginaw police. They initially stated that he refused to get in the vehicle and leave. Now they're stating that he was disturbing the peace. But the prosecutor declined to charge him with disturbing the peace. Instead, he's charging him, a 17-year-old child, with 2 felony counts of resisting and obstructing. And the police have refused to release the body cam and dash cam footage. They have denied FOIA requests, and they have no evidence. The prosecutor has stated that he has no evidence. And Officer Luke stated that he always turns his body cam on. He stated that during a hearing that Keon had. And we have been forced to travel from Arizona to Michigan for 30-minute hearings. The judge denied Zoom hearings. Keon has been going through this his entire senior year of high school. He just graduated May 25th. His entire senior year of high school, he lost his mother and his grandmother, and they're putting him through this. He was not disturbing the peace. He was at a party with family and friends. The judge stated that he was that he was in the community unsupervised, and that he was probably in the community, that he was in the community with no food, clothes, or housing, and possibly creating additional victims. That showed bias right there, because he's a black child. He's in the community with no food, clothes, and housing, and he's creating additional victims. This child has never been in any trouble in his life. He has never. His mother was a business owner here in this community. She was a business owner, and he never, he was a student at Carleton High School. He transferred to high school in Tempe, Arizona, after losing his mother. Transferred his job from the Walmart on Bay Road to the Walmart in Arizona, in Chandler. And it's really sad what they are putting him through, and it makes no sense. Why charge a child with 2 felony counts of resisting and obstructing? And now they're stating a whole entire year later, they're trying to force him to plead to obstructing.
That just means your 3 minutes up, you need to wrap up your closing
Okay,
statement
they're trying to
now.
force him to plead to disturbing the peace, and he was never charged with disturbing the peace. So they're trying to force him to plead to something that he was never even charged with. And they're saying that it would be considered a ticket. Before it was considered a misdemeanor, but now they're saying that it would be considered a ticket, and they would dismiss the felonies and the misdemeanors.
Yes,
Thank you,
I'm
Mayor.
sorry.
Motion to extend the speaker's time by 45 seconds.
Thank you. Second. Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed,
Nay.
Nay.
roll call.
Williams.
Nay.
Councilmember Balls.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bench.
No.
Councilmember Ostache.
Nay.
Councilmember Garcia.
Yes.
Councilmember Flores.
Yes.
Councilmember Copeland's absent. Councilmember Sylvia.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
No.
We have a tie vote. Your motion is denied. Speaker is done. Our next speaker is Charles Roach.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor Moore, Mayor Pro Tem, City Manager, and also the clerk and the lawyer. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just here. Let me calm down. I don't know why I get nervous when I come up here, but I do. I speak everywhere. But listen, I want to start off with this. I called in to sign up for public input today, and I clearly have never been treated the way I was treated to sign up for public input today. The clerk's office called me back with the owner of my home and asking me why I didn't live there. And my name is not Charles Roach. I never go by Charles Roach. I signed up for public input as Charles Allen, and I always do. You all know I go by Charles Allen. How did she even find out that my last name was Charles Roach? So that's where I start first. Are you searching information about me for public input? Because that's definitely a violation. This is a public input message. She asked me 2 times, was I located in the city of Saginaw? I was born and raised here, born at Saginaw General. I don't want to spend all my time because I'm here to ask you one question. Are our police supposed to have body cams on? And if they are they supposed to give that footage up? We understand that there's a ongoing legal case that's happening with Keon Sanders, but we want justice for him. And we don't want them traveling back and forth from Arizona and then having them cancel the trial when they get there. That is definitely unjust and unfair because they're definitely trying to drain their pocketbooks to make them plea. I understand that the system is set up for us to plea. I get it. I played the game. I've plead before. I've been arrested in my driveway. 3 of my brothers, I'm the only other brother out of prison. My little brother's in juvenile. My middle brother is in prison. He pleaded to 3 to 20 years. He's been in prison for 10 years. My older brother, Clinton, in prison as well. I'm saying that because there's seriously a problem when we're telling our future We're telling our future that your future is to be behind bars. Keon is me. Keon is my son. Out of 100 kids, one charged. So he holds on his back disturbing the peace. Just one. No evidence has been released. FOIA has been denied. That is a problem. And yes, it's an ongoing legal situation, but I want it to be at the public city meeting because it needs to be on this tape. Because you need to know what's happening in your city, and we need to have this. I'm not yelling at you. This is not towards you. I know you guys are going to say that you can't do anything about it, and we have to refer to the city staff. That's okay. I've heard that a lot. I understand how the city council works. I understand how the charter works, and I understand that the power is not really in your hands all the time. I get that. However, I want to make sure that it's on this meeting that we want justice for Keon. Stop draining those people's money. It is not fair for them not to have Zoom. It is not fair for them to literally be saying that this kid has no food, no shelter, and his dad literally has Grammys. We got to talk about that.
I just need you to wrap up.
I'm wrapping up.
Okay.
I know how it works. I'm wrapping up. I'm just saying, be on the right side of history. Get this FOIA released.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and thank you all for coming to the mental health awareness rally, too.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Our next speaker is Deanne Goodwine.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just want to first thank you for the opportunity to allow me space and time to present my concern. I try to live and gain understanding and resources from the Bible and Google. I stand before you with the question, as what can and what will the city do about the infestation of groundhogs that are so prevalent on the east side of Saginaw? As you can see, and I had a photo, I don't know if you have the photo, but I have a photo of a hole that is very huge. And there are several of those large holes under my home, 4 to be exact, due to the burrow dug by groundhogs. This is causing a lot of frustration, stress, and anxiety regarding the durability of the foundation of my home. I have tried many tactics to rid them of my yard. Nothing has prevailed. I have talked to several people who are experiencing the same frustration, stress, and anxiety due to the destruction of their home's foundation. When I called the city of Saginaw to report the abundance of groundhogs I see daily, I was told to call an exterminator to help solve the problem, and that I will be responsible for the services. When I called the exterminator, I was told that for every groundhog caught, it would cost me $100+. Now, this was 1 to 2 years ago, and I'm quite sure the price has gone up. And I'm quite sure that I know that I can, and I'm quite sure other people cannot afford this. This is why the groundhogs are allowed to continue to roam and populate in our neighborhoods. Per Google, breeding season takes place after hibernation, which ends in approximately March. There's a single groundhog litter born each year for every female, and the gestation period is 30 days. Groundhogs can deliver up to 5 offspring at a time. As I previously stated, the foundation of my home is very concerning for me. I believe a weak and deteriorating foundation will not sustain anything built on it. I do appreciate all that you are doing for the city of Saginaw to make it a great place to live. And I do look forward to hearing from you regarding this matter. Again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kareem Amani.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here. This is a bittersweet moment, but I am Kareem Amani, Kareem Hogan Amani, and I did receive some help from the clerk's office on the issue that I presented here today. I also provided images via email. I'm not sure if they were forwarded to you. Nevertheless, I believe I'm speaking here really with respect to a symptom of a larger issue. I have a home here that's a family home. We try to use it as a place that we congregate and celebrate holidays and bringing in new life, things of that nature. And in November of last year, I was contacted, which I do not live here in the winter, to be notified that the water line is going to be replaced because it was said to be lead. We thank you for replacing the water line. However, I wasn't sure why it was chosen to be replaced in November. We'll get back to that later. In December, I was contacted by the city and was told that our pipes had burst under the house. Unfortunately, it was on our side of the meter. And I arrived back into town earlier last month in May, submitted a claim after going through the process of having the city come and review what the issue was. And the real goal was really just to have our home back the way it was, which is running water and our foundation insulated so that the pipes would not burst in the winter. And what I found was I had to submit a claim, which required me to get several quotes and to be available to have people come and provide quotes, et cetera, et cetera. Fortunately, as I said, I have been compensated to some degree, but if you know or are aware, when you get quotes, they have a time duration. So I hope that the compensation provided will cover the total cost. In addition to that, and this really has no bearing, but I'm a graduate of Michigan Technological University. The reason I mention that is because the dialogue that I had with city officials insulted my intelligence on several occasions. And I just want to, state that. In addition to that, some of the dialogue insulted my freedoms, so to speak, because I was told at one point in time that I could pay for the repairs myself and that the law would have to be involved to investigate this scenario. I'm okay with all of that, but I felt as if the word and term law was used in a way to intimidate me. The reason that I'm standing here is because people who are older may not be able to articulate themselves when things like that happen, and we were scheduled, my family, to have a family reunion here, which we could not have due to the fact that we do not have water in our home.
Did you wrap it up?
I'm done. I see a hand up, so.
No, they can't ask, oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Flores, I'm
He
sorry.
stated he was done, right?
Correct, I can walk
Okay.
away. It's fine, but I see a hand up.
Motion to extend the speaker's time by 45 seconds.
Thank you.
No. We need to vote on it. All those in favor say, I need a
Do you have a
second.
second?
Did I get one?
Second. You need one.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? No. Nay. Roll call.
Councilmember Balls.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bench.
No.
Councilmember Ostache.
Nay.
Councilmember Garcia.
No.
Councilmember Flores.
Yes.
Copeland is absent. Councilmember Sylvia.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
No.
Mayor Moore.
No.
We have 3 yes and 5 no. Your motion is denied. Speaker is done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Yvette Smith.
Good evening.
Okay, before you start, there's 2 of you, so it's only Yvette that can talk.
Okay.
Correct? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
And all of the elected officials, City Council. My name is Yvette Smith. I live on 526 South 20th Street. I have an ongoing issue. It has gotten worse and it threatens the citizens of Saginaw. I have an article 13 years old. This field of weeds is no longer a field, it's a jungle. I went to the Saginaw News. They came out expeditiously, did a story, the next day they cut it. Now I'm being told by some elected officials, they don't know who owned the land in the middle. 13 years, there was no $52 million, we had no funds. They cut that field. We're also bombarded with skunks. My house was bombarded with skunks. We got deer sitting in your yard. We have as she said, groundhouse. It's a mess. Saginaw, truly, it's a disgrace. 13 years ago, everybody in here probably have rode down 20th Street, but they kept driving because you don't want to look over there. Out of sight, out of mind. I'm here because I've lived on South 20th Street, and I've watched when I moved there, they cut it. Now I'm being told, when I ask my elected officials I voted for, maybe we're voting for the wrong people. Sometimes you may vote for the color, maybe because you know them, not because they're the best person for the job. I detest the way I'm feeling. I detest the way we're being treated. A jungle. Norman, Farewell, Feline, this town is under siege by overgrowth. I don't know who's running the city. I was told they can't cut these fields because they're short on workforce. They can't go to the county jail. They can't go to the restoration outreach. They can't go to the rescue mission. Now it's expected of the residents to cut it. It's no longer a field of weeds. It's a jungle. So we need that heavy machinery. I've been told by several elected officials, we're gonna cut this field. Last year, I got on it again. I was shoved under the table. I'm on it again, but I called TV5. They came out again, did a story. I'm here today to show my face. I'm just like the rest of you. I'm entitled to live decent, not in no damn jungle. This is my neighbor. She's here. She has the same problem. We live down the street from each other. But to continue to be lied to, or this is another excuse. Can I have her 3 minutes?
Can she have 3 minutes?
Okay.
One more time.
Councilman Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to extend the speaker's time by 45 seconds.
Second. It's been moved to second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Bench.
No.
Councilmember Allstash.
No.
Councilmember Garcia. Councilmember Flores.
Aye. Yes.
Councilmember Copeland is absent. Councilmember Sylvia.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
No.
Councilmember Balls.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
No.
3 yes and 5 no votes. Motion is denied.
We figured that.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
My name is Teresa Wilcox.
Wait,
and I'm-
wait, Ms. Wilcox.
Your name hasn't even been called yet.
Okay, I'm
so
sorry.
Please wait. As the clerk learns this new clock. Our next speaker is Teresa Wilcoxon.
Who's up at the podium?
Okay, and she can start.
I live at 448 South 20th, and it is a jungle over across the street. You came out and half cut around the edge. That is not good enough. All the time I've been there since 1982, always accidents at that corner. But we used to can look all the way across through those tracks to the next street over there on 17th. Now it's nothing but trees and bushes and wild animals and whatever you want to say. People come and dump their trash over there now. They dump food over there now, and everything in the neighborhood just go right over there and just have a little field day. I don't think it's fair, because we pay taxes, and our taxes went up. Our taxes shouldn't go up. For what reason? If you ain't doing nothing for us, we shouldn't be paying, right? Well, I think something should be done. And a house across the street, animals were staying across there. You wouldn't come tear that down. Then when you did come tear it down, all the animals come out. They went right over there in that field where they live. 3 deers every day, they over there. Now one day those deer's gonna run out and cause an accident. Is it gonna be on the city? Y'all gonna help pay for something? No. So y'all need to do something about the trees and the bushes and quit taking our tax money and not doing nothing for us. Am I wrong? No. Then you come out and you dig up the street and come put that old tire down. Lumpy, lumpy. Don't y'all know when the heat come, that stuff melt and it go whoop, whoop, whoop. People tear up their cars. People ride on the wrong side of the street to dodge that. They're gonna dodge those animals that run out from in that jungle over there. That's gonna cause an accident. Or the wild animals might come out and grab some of them kids and bite them. Who knows? But something needs to be done, and something needs to be done right away. And not just the edge around there, as y'all say, 5 feet. That wasn't nothing. Whoever came out there and did that left a big old mess. We shouldn't have to live like that. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Theodis Wilcoxon.
He not here.
Not here? Thank you. Appreciate that. Joshua Miller.
Start that clock?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Josh Miller. I'm the director of the Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds program with the Saginaw ISD. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you this evening. I've served as the Saginaw ISD representative for the Food Access Collaboration Team of Saginaw County, also known as FACT, since 2018. My staff and I have seen firsthand what our students are eating in school. We know who is trying fruits and vegetables. Our program is a nutrition education-based program where we provide the opportunity for students to try fruits and vegetables in a safe environment, all the while increasing their fruits and vegetable consumption. Our program serves over 2,000 students in the city of Saginaw. So we are in all of our schools, all of our babies. We are the program that is taking care of them. I stand before you today in support of the Saginaw Community Food Club and Kitchen. By bringing this project to fruition, it will allow all of our schools to participate in the 10 cents a meal program. Is that possible now? Yes. But there's so much administration and work that goes into it that a lot of our schools are not doing it. So by allowing this program, it will allow us to take care of the administration, the relationship building with farmers, the preparation of products, and delivering to schools to keep costs down so schools will participate in this program. Outside of school hours, this project will make a huge difference for our families. I see a lot of families who are regularly relying on meal distribution sites, either through churches and the pantries that we serve. Having the food club will allow for our families to shop in a grocery style format in a way they can afford. Continuing that families rely on food distributions and pantries and schools for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, in which, remember, school is not taking place all year long, is unfair to our families. So I ask you to please move forward with the food insecurity funding through ARPA and support the Saginaw Community Food Kitchen Foundation. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jamie Forbes.
Good evening. Thank you to Mayor Moore, Mayor Pro Tem Bench, council members, and Manager Morales for allowing me to speak this evening. I come in support of the Food Club, and I encourage you to designate the balance of the funds from the food security program to this project. We all know that food access is a major need in our community with limited shopping options in the city. 18% or around 7,800 individuals from the city of Saginaw do not have a car in their household. 44%, or around 19,000, only have one car in their household. And this doesn't take into consideration the incredible cost of used vehicles these days, which results in households often having very unreliable transportation, which also poses a problem. I represent myself tonight, but I can testify that the location across from the YMCA, which is being cited for the food club, has direct STARS service every hour. FACTS has led the way in finding funds to install a bus shelter right on that site, and the food club has pledged to care for the shelter once it's installed. All this in hopes that transportation will not be a barrier to access healthy, affordable food. I'd also like to recognize the help of Mayor Moore in securing shelters at food access points. After your thorough feasibility study assessing the need and the organizations focused on this work, it is clear that the food club is a perfect fit. It is a viable and proven proposal that addresses food access that came to light through the ARPA process. They've already raised $2 million of their $5 million project budget, and they plan to break ground in March of next year. The city is already hoping to raise the blighted building that stands in that spot now, so supporting this project would further that goal as well. What an incredible addition to Celebration Square this would be. I promise you from my experience with her, this project cannot be led by a better doer, a more dedicated and driven person than Tina Swanton. I ask that you pledge the full $2 million to this incredible project as soon as possible so that they may move forward with this positive project in Saginaw. I'd also like to comment that I know that humans are imperfect. This is just the nature of humanity, but I wonder if there's a way that we could ensure that body cams and car cams are on as often as possible. Because in this situation, one or the other of those being in place could have made things a little more transparent. And I know that's why we have body cams, and I'm thankful for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Christina Harrington.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Christina Harrington, and I'm the health officer for the County of Saginaw. I'm a lifelong county resident and have spent the last nearly 2 decades working in public health, and most recently have led the county's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. If we've learned anything from COVID, it's that when organizations work together, we can truly be effective. Now, Saginaw has one of the most aggressive post-COVID strategies in the state. We've built a coalition of 13 organizations called Be Well Saginaw, committed to moving Saginaw from one of the least healthy counties in Michigan into the top 25. Right now, Saginaw ranks 76 out of 83 counties in terms of health outcomes because too many of our babies are dying, too many people live with severe chronic illnesses, and our people lack access to essential resources like food. So as the lead convener of the new Be Well Saginaw, I can speak to the coalition's commitment to build resiliency for our residents, because if we do that, Saginaw will fend off the next emerging disease. Our members include Ascension St. Mary's, Covenant Healthcare, Great Lakes Bay Health Centers, CMU Health, Health Source Saginaw, the ISD, SVSU, United Way, Mahaya, the Saginaw chapter of MDHHS, Community Mental Health, and of course, the Health Department. Our coalition is thinking big and focusing on transformational systems change to improve how healthy residents can be. That means putting programs, policies, and services where it really is needed most. Food insecurity is what we call in public health a social determinant of health. Factors that contribute to how healthy a person really can be. Food is at the foundational core of health, and addressing our food challenges of access and education are exactly what the Food Club is trying to do. This isn't about providing some food to some people some of the time. Our community has been committed to doing that through wonderful efforts that already exist and are operational. We need a larger initiative with a greater return on investment that truly addresses, from a population health standpoint, an opportunity to provide healthy foods to more families and an ongoing access, and most importantly, education. This is why the Food Club project is so vitally important and ready to begin. We can't wait any longer to address these challenges, and no one organization is going to do this alone. It's about true, authentic work amongst our system partners to best leverage our resources to create transformational change for Saginaw. They're exactly the types of efforts we must continue to leverage and build upon in Saginaw in order to move the needle. That's what we're really trying to do. So I respectfully request you support the full allocation of the ARPA funding to support the Food Club's project. Thank you for your time and for listening to me tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Heidi Tracy.
Good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. I am Heidi Tracy. I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Michigan Health Improvement Alliance, and some of you know us better by our acronym MAHIA. We are where we bring together the doers, the dreamers, the innovators, and the people that are just interested and committed to promoting the common good, and create a space to think and about what could be if we could remove barriers. As Ms. Harrington just pointed out, the Be Well Saginaw initiative is a great support for this community, and it's an asset that other communities within our region do not have. So you're very fortunate to have that, and we feel very privileged to be part of that. This region has some of the highest instances of heart disease and diabetes and higher rates of obesity than most of the state. The residents, specifically in the city of Saginaw, are disproportionately affected. And this is all led right back to the ability to be able to consume and access healthy, nutritious food. So we've been, in the last 3 years, part of a study that was funded by the Michigan Health Endowment Fund that allowed for us to marshal the current resources that we have, create and look for possibilities to leverage assets that are underutilized, and then put that together with where those gaps, identifying the gaps and closing those gaps. Our next step in that process is to create a food ecosystem throughout the region that will allow us to now be able to take food that is raised and grown locally, take it and put it into a locally distributed and processed system so that it can be accessed and consumed locally. We see the food club as an integral part of that ecosystem. So I wanted you to know that even though this will directly affect the residents of the city of Saginaw, we hope to collect the information, monitor those health outcomes, and showcase Saginaw as a leader and an innovator that will then we'll be able to take that information and those best practices and adapt and replicate it throughout the region so that we can then, you would be leading the way in creating a larger and more healthful system for our entire region, which will help us all. So I want to thank you for your consideration of the Food Club. I want to thank you for doing the feasibility study.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tina Swanton.
Good evening. My name's Tina Swanton. I've been here before. We've talked about this project before, and I thank you for allowing me to speak on the Food Club again. As a council, you determined food insecurity as a need and voted to put $2 million into that bucket after the ARPA committee brought you this recommendation and elevated the Food Club as one of the top options. As a council, you wanted to complete a feasibility study, which has been completed, and the Food Club again was put as a best option. I heard from the council that you were getting questions that some of you did not feel you could answer, so I provided an FAQ sheet based on those questions to help you with those talking points. Tonight, you have been and will continue to be hearing from some of our community leaders and partners of the Food Club and how this is beneficial to so many. I have continued to say to you as a council and to the Guidehouse, if you were to need anything for information or anything about the project, please ask. And if you have asked me, I have delivered it. So now I am asking you, if or when the motion comes forward to fund the Food Club, I ask for you to fully support a motion of $2 million toward this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina.
Our next speaker is Marcel Smith.
Good evening.
Good evening.
One moment, Marcel. Okay.
I stand as first a resident of the city of Saginaw, a father, a husband, clergy, a member of several boards, including the Food Access Collaboration Team of Saginaw County. I echo everything that you have just recently heard from my partners in this particular portion of ministry that I do, because most importantly, I stand as a Christian. Those of you who I know on the board are Christian know that one of the things that Jesus looks for in his disciples is feeding people. Everything that everyone has said is good. I would even say it's great, but no one has mentioned the real problem that we're having. Saginaw is one of many places that deals with food apartheid. We typically use the terms food desert, food insecurity, and all of those, and they have merit. But food apartheid gets at all of those collectively because it acknowledges that Saginaw really isn't a food desert. It's more of a food mirage. That is, the people that I serve, the people that you serve, know where healthy food is, but there are systemic and systematic barriers that prevent them from getting to the food. Food apartheid encompasses all that and acknowledges that it's not just the reality that there is food insecurity, there is lack of access to food, but the reasons that there are lack of access to food. You all, again, have had the feasibility study that not only acknowledges but even recommends that doing a food club would be a part of this food apartheid being done. I don't stand here asking you to fix all the problem. All of the organizations you've heard of, and I have been working, Mount Olive, where I serve in Saginaw County, since 2020, we've served over 30,000 families with boxes of food. Multiply that, and we have reached millions of people in this county, millions or thousands of families, I should say, in this county with food. And the problem with that is every time we have a food giveaway, we don't have enough to give them. And so we are asking that you approve this full $2 million again for this food club so that we can begin to deal with the food mirage that exists because of food apartheid in the city of Saginaw. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Amy Wassman.
All right, thank you. Good evening. I'm so grateful to be here today. I will say my heart lives in Saginaw, even though I don't physically live in Saginaw. I started my career at Prevention and Youth Services over 25 years ago, and I spent 14 years at Saginaw ISD supporting anything that was not math, science, reading, and writing. That includes our nutrition programming within the county. We have had nutrition-focused groups for, I don't even know how long, 15 plus years ago. I can reiterate all of the stats that Christina has talked about, that Tina has spoken on, and Josh and Marcel and everyone else that came before me about this important work. But here's what really matters. I'm going to speak from my heart because you heard the stats. We have families who can't afford food. We have families who can't have access to the food, who can't have transportation that's reliable to get them to and from. We have an opportunity before us. We have always said in all of the coalition meetings that I've been a part of in this community, if only we had the money. We have the money. Now let's do something about it. And let's put that money where our mouths are, and let's make an impact and make a difference for our kids, for our families, for our elderly people, for everyone in the city of Saginaw. This should not be something that they have to fight for. This should not be something that we have to fight for. This is the bottom level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Basic human needs, basic human rights. We have an opportunity to put Saginaw on the map for meeting the needs of our community members and being that leading change and force that other counties want to emulate through this food club. So please support this fully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Maximus Jabbar. He's here.
I'm back.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
First chapter. I'm not going to do all this tonight. I know you're tired. I am. I just came back from Africa. So listen, I want to thank everybody for putting the parking signs up, no, do not park and all that kind of stuff. If I wouldn't catch a case, I want to thank you. I want to thank the police as well. There's bad and good and everywhere. Okay, I was in Africa. Y'all are blessed. Y'all don't really know y'all are really, really blessed. They don't take that stuff over there. They just beat you down. They don't have guns. They don't need guns. I was amazed to be a place that didn't have no guns. Only the police and the army had the guns. Made it a lot more safer. I want to thank every one of you, mayor and the council, for doing what you did. We still need something else, though. You need cameras. Africa has cameras. When you have a short of a police department, they have cameras so they can monitor. No problem. And you know nobody like cameras. So I want to thank you again. It's good to be back in Saginaw. I'm trying to do something right, the way my mother would want me to do it. I was going to leave here, period. I've been to Texas and all over the world. I'm here to try to make a difference in our community. I see what's going on. Lack of education, lack of food. Y'all don't know what it means not to have food. Where I came from was people don't have bridge cards. You know, they do it, they have sheep, they have lambs. They know how to slaughter. They don't have to go through all that. They don't have to, they got markets and everything. It's beautiful. But we have to be blessed. Even with the police department, you got bad and you got good. I know them all. I worked with the CIA, I worked with the FBI, I worked in LA, I did all that. Bodyguard, I did all that. I've seen it all. So it's a catch-22. You have to have a balance. You also have to have fear. When you don't have fear, then you get monsters in the prisons. Prison system sucks. But over there, it's not like that because they fear. They know better. And they know if they get caught, it's a wrap. Ain't no sitting up there no 30, 40 years in no prison. They eliminate you. Other than that, I want to thank everybody again. I will be back because I'm back. And I want to thank you because you guys do good. You can't be better in everything. Nothing. Nothing's perfect. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night, thank you.
Mayor, we are now at council remarks.
Everybody moving, I was letting them move. Tonight, council members, you have 3 minutes as well. The time clock is on you as well. Anything close to the 3 minutes, wrap it up. We'll start tonight with Councilman Ostash.
Thank you, Mayor. And first, I just want to say I hope everybody had a wonderful Memorial holiday. And again, thanks to our fallen soldiers who have given us our freedoms. Also, I want to thank the folks that came out tonight to accept the proclamations. I know Ms. Audrey Wilson has left, but Ms. Hawkins, thank you for coming out. I look forward to a month of celebration, and I look forward to the parade and the festivities that will take place for Juneteenth. So thank you once again for doing all of this for the city of Saginaw and everybody that you're collaborating with to do that. So we were talking a lot about health today, and it got to me thinking about kind of what I was going to say, and I'm kind of going to go and say something else. The food, I feel, is really important for our city. It's something that we've been talking about, even from the Planning Commission and different zoning things that we're looking at to try and get some of that back in our neighborhoods again with markets, because everything's kind of zoned residential right now. So again, I thanks for coming out and speaking about the food club. You're right, we do have a desert here, and a lot of times transportation is an issue, so thank you, Jamie Forbes, for coming out and always reminding us about that as an issue for Saginaw. Audrey Wilson was here tonight, and she works for Great Lakes Bay Health Centers, and she works for the Hearth Home on Hoyt Avenue. Pride gives me an opportunity to speak once again to the community that, just like COVID, HIV just needs a host to live in. It does not care who you love. It does not care about the color of your skin. It just needs a body. And I just want to say that through that organization that she works for, that there is such a thing called PrEP. This is a pre-exposure prophylactics that you can get a lot of information from them, and it is over 99% effective on preventing HIV. The Harrow's home is located at 732 Hoyt Avenue, and their phone number is 989-753-9011. Christine Harrington, thank you for coming out tonight and talking about this program as well. You and I worked on another program that had to do with health, and that was a safe syringe program. So again, thanks for coming out tonight and voicing yourself from the Saginaw County Health Department. And Heidi, you and I had spoke recently. We were at the SVRC Marketplace. I just want to thank everybody that came out to speak on the food club tonight. There recently, over the weekend, I had the opportunity of attending a men's health fair. That was put on by the Saginaw Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi, and it was an excellent event. I found out that I have good hearing still. My cholesterol was in check, so apparently I'm going to survive. And they are also able to help me out with some of my feet issues that I've been having when I've been working out. More celebrations that are going on in the city of Saginaw this week. Wednesday, starting at 4:45 p.m. in the afternoon, is Jazz on Jefferson. I've been going to this event since I moved into the city 20 years ago. It's always a wonderful time, a lot of bands, good food. Make sure you get the strawberry shortcake, and I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Councilwoman Flores.
Oh, Garcia.
Garcia.
You'll get it straight one day.
You know what? I look down. I'm charging to my head, not to my heart.
All right, darling.
Councilwoman Garcia.
Good evening, concerned citizens of the community. I feel like I'm on jeopardy with the time clock. It's about to go off, but I did also get to attend with my colleague Bill, the men's health fair. I hadn't been there in a few years, and it was a great time seeing everybody, and especially the men. Sometimes they're hard-headed and they don't want to go get checked, so I think it was just a great opportunity for them to go and to see all the different programs that are available and resources that are free and people are not even aware of. And I got to network with a lot of people and found out some great programs and got a couple of Narcans and heard that people are just taking them and leaving them at gas stations and then just trying to help other people. So I thought that was awesome. Also this Friday at Haco Park, a senior picnic day, 10 to 1. You can still get tickets for the Saginaw Commission on Aging. I will be there. There will be multiple vendors. Make sure you go, or if you have any loved ones that are seniors that come on out, it is a great time. They do have music and lots of raffles. And then also, I got one of these. I don't know if they are out for the public too, but they always say Saginaw is boring. There's nothing to do. Obviously, there's a lot to do here. So, I mean, there's so many dates I could throw out and say like, oh, you got something to do. This upcoming weekend, free fishing weekend. I know I grew up on Sanford Lake, which is no longer there. But bring your own pole and bait, and all the fishing license fees are waived, and it's just a good time to spend time with your family. And like I say, player price, it's free. So make sure you go out and utilize that. Wednesday, Jazz on Jefferson. I mean, there's something every day it looks like to do here. The museum looks like they're celebrating their 15th birthday, the Mid-Michigan Children's Museum. Party games, party hats, and more. Can't go wrong with a party, right? So just a lot of different things, so you can take a look. And I'm not sure if these are available to everybody, but you can pick it up. But there's a lot of different events. The Japanese gardens. I mean, there's so much stuff here to do. So when they're saying Saginaw, they're not looking in the right places because there's things to do. And I got to do my first CapCon this year, and I ended up in the magazine, barely, but I'm in there, so I'm happy. I'm keeping this. I'm gonna frame it, you know, so we're making history. But yeah, so just thank everybody for coming. And I just want to say too, I'm all about the food thing. I worked at MSU Extension teaching nutrition, the My Plate. We would go in Walmarts and we would do shopping on a budget, and it's just a lot of fun. And people aren't even, some of the fruits and vegetables I never even tasted in my life until I started teaching nutrition and into schools, and I'm like, wow, a star fruit, like what is this? This is so good, you know. And then just different recipes that I made that I still use to this day, even though I'm no longer there, but it's very important. And I was even, got a lot of the Latino community involved because, of course, we don't measure our foods, we just throw it in there. So it's kind of neat to have some type of structure, but, so have a nice night. Thank you for coming. God bless.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Flores.
5 minutes?
Not for you.
I'll do 5.
Easily. No, you do 3.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, thank you for everybody that came out to speak today. Especially, there was a post that Councilwoman Garcia had made about Kroger now just taking the coupons, digital coupons, which would really hinder the ability for people that aren't technologically savvy, you know, e.g. folks that are over 45, maybe 50, 60. But, yeah, sorry, I'm trying not to offend anybody. 80, 90, 100. But I went to Kroger today, keeping that in mind. I didn't have my phone on me, and they will honor your coupon if you tell the cashier or whatever. But that's sad. We are kind of in a spot right now as a city where we need additional food in multiple different areas that are either food mirages, deserts, whatever. What was really hopeful today to see from public comment are folks are still coming to speak about ARPA dollars, although they know that at this current time we're kind of putting a limit on our ability to motion money forward until there's been a review. So that's encouraging to know that people are still tuned in. I don't really have that much else. The one thing I did want to mention is that we had lost a really great citizen. Her name is Ida Murchison, who had passed away a couple weeks ago, I think on the 25th or it was 25th. But I was out in Detroit. The accident happened in our neighborhood. And I didn't know her myself. My neighbor knew her. My neighbor on the opposite side of our street knew her. Councilwoman Garcia knew her. People that I've grown up with knew her, and she was nothing other than an amazing mother, amazing friend, amazing family member. And when you get an outpouring of condolences from the city, you really understand that you lost somebody great that was a good contributor to the city. So that really hurt my heart this past couple weeks to hear about that. And with the clock thing, we're going to figure this whole thing out. I don't think it's overly intimidating, but it'll work for now. So that's it. All right, thanks everybody so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilwoman Sylvia.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to say good evening and thank everyone deciding to come and spend some time with your city council. I'd like to thank all of the speakers. I see there's about 5 speakers that came and spoke to us that don't even live in the city. I definitely appreciate that. And hopefully everyone will get answers. Ms. Sanders is not here. Hopefully she'll get answers. Everyone will get answers to their questions in a positive, hopefully positive way. And I went to an event this past weekend, Wear Orange, and I'd like you all to know that the Wear Orange is for the entire month of June in regards to gun violence. So if you see any of those events coming up, it's all right to attend those. It shows support if you would like to support those different events that not only in Saginaw but other maybe surrounding areas. And that's all I have to say. You all have a blessed rest of the day.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Williams.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to everyone who came out to speak this evening. We had a total of 16, not all showed up. I would like to say that I am grateful for the clock and Councilwoman Sylvia's motion to implement it. With that being said, I want to say to the city that it's important for us to respect one another. Everyone that comes to that podium wants to be respected and wants to be heard. Everyone up here, same thing. We want to be respected and we want to be heard. And although the podium and this table has mics, that means we need to respect those that are listening to us at the same time. That clock, 3 minutes, in your first minute of speaking, you are going to get out what you came here to get out. In your first minute, we are going to hear it. After that first minute, What we're gonna start to hear is how you feel about why you're here. And extending time when you have 2 minutes to get your feelings out, that's where I don't support. That is why I put a no on the motion. And I want everyone to understand the reason why I put a no on the motion. Because I don't bring my personal business to this table for the city to hear, my personal feelings, I should say. And we're here to handle city business. And it helps the meeting run so much more efficiently when we are here to do just that. Also, as far as there was mention of body cams, so that everyone is aware, and this was when I was with the Saginaw Police Department, the policies that are in place have been in place for years, and they become more strict as time goes on. When those policies are violated, trust and believe the administration handles things accordingly, effectively, and swiftly. So administration is proactive in putting the policies together and making sure, doing the best to make sure that people follow the policy. But administration becomes reactive when that employee decides not to. So it's not that something's not being handled. It is being handled. You're just not going to get all the details, unfortunately, until it's over, and you may never get all of the details. But just please believe, it is being taken care of. That is a guarantee, and it is a fact, and has been a fact. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Balls.
Thank you. I don't have a lot to say.
Hold on.
I have nothing to say, I guess.
You knocked out most of your time. You got 25, that's right. She said, hold on.
Okay.
Ready? Good evening. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out to the city council today. I appreciate everybody caring about our city. You know, it's good to have people to come here and have sympathy, but it's another thing to have empathy about other people's problems. You know, when you feel it in your heart, you will get up and do something about it. And I appreciate the people who want to bring the food to the city of Saginaw, to the citizens, because we really do need it. There's not many good grocery stores around in the city of Saginaw, if any. I noticed that we have plenty of liquor stores and beer stores, but when it comes places where you can get fresh fruit and vegetables, it's another story. So thank you so much for bringing that here. I haven't said anything lately about this, but I've been thinking about, one of my little brothers and the big brothers came to see me. I had 6 little brothers. Little brother number 4 came to visit me from Texas. He's a truck driver now. And I was really surprised when he came to see me, because when he came to my house, I had on my big brother and little brother's T-shirt on. Then he pulls up and tell me about how happy he was for us to be in a relationship together. And I felt the same way that he felt, because you know, it's a give and take type situation when you're in the Big Brothers and Sisters program. And it was so good to find out this guy, he'd be turning 30 years old, September 8th, and he has not gotten into any major trouble. He got a wedgie from a police officer one day, and we had no problems out of him since. But the guy is a productive member in society. He's 29 years old. He hasn't birthed any kids here out of wedlock, anything like that. And he said, Michael, I want to have no kids till I'm financially able to be there in that kid's life. And it made me feel so good. We had the opportunity to share lunch together and stuff like that. And it was just good to see my little brother. I had another guy I was mentoring, and he came up to the house in his car. He bought a new, well, not a new car, new to him. But he was in the skills trades program, and now he's working for a heating and cooling place, and once he got that car, he said, man, the first place I want to come to your house. I said, that made me feel so good. I was sitting in the backyard, and my wife brought him out and said, hey, somebody over here to see you. He said, hey, Mike, I want you to see my new car, man. I really appreciate you for pushing me to be involved and stuff like that, and now I'm working with this particular union to be a guy that installed furnaces and stuff like that. And, you know, I was really happy for him to come and share that with me, because it made me feel good in my heart, and I know it made him feel good, and he's gonna go out and tell somebody else about the program, so you can do this thing, goodness just keep rolling on and on and on. So, if anybody, and I wanna thank the people here who have family members that's involved in the Big Brothers and Sisters program, like our clerk, like Mr. Miller in the back being involved in the Big Brothers and Sisters program. We really appreciate you guys for being involved in it, because it make our city a better place for all of us. So thanks for letting me share that.
Next, we have Mayor Pro Tem Bench.
Good evening and happy Pride Month to everyone. Ms. Hawkins, thank you for being here tonight to accept the proclamation for Juneteenth. And thank you for all of the work that you're putting into the event. I just want to reiterate that the evening of the 16th, which is Friday, June 16th, there's a banquet in which our mayor will be honored, and the following day, the 17th, is the Juneteenth parade, which our mayor will be the Grand Marshal, thank you, I couldn't think of it. And we're all signed up to be there, so we're all set for that. But I wanted to thank our other public speakers as well, particularly those here in support of the Food Club. Not only do our citizens not have access, but so much of the time when we talk about bringing in a big chain or trying to court a big chain or get them to come back, a lot of those prices are not affordable. I know I struggle. If I didn't have Aldi, I don't know how I would feed my family, to be honest with you, because the prices might not be going up anymore, but they're certainly not coming down. They may have plateaued, but it's a serious issue that we have to address. I'm very supportive of what you guys are doing and very encouraged by the direction you guys are headed in. I'm not sure if Ms. Wilcoxon or Ms. Smith are out in the hall, but I want to reiterate or co-sign what Councilman Williams said about extending people's time. I hope they're out in the hall, and I'm going to respond to their concerns the best I can, but I mean, sometimes we extend time for people and they don't stick around to get answers from us, and it's hard for us to, make sure that people get the correct information sometimes. But I know I spoke to the city manager about the property on 20th. I believe it's owned by the city, I'm not sure. I also spoke to the land bank manager, but the understanding I have is that both are more than willing to work together to get it mowed once, and we have to, count on the neighborhood and the community to step up and maintain it after that. And I know that's not always easy for people to do, but I do am under the impression that the city and the county land bank were more than happy to work together to at least get it mowed once. I know we have a lot of people who are having trouble with groundhogs. One of the best investments I ever made was buying a trap from Tractor Supply and figuring out where to just, take them safely, but you can catch them and you can remove them from your property. I know it's not ideal, but we don't have the funds to take care of groundhogs, unfortunately. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
That was fast.
25 seconds.
Good evening. Let me say this. I'd like to thank the squad for representing us in the Memorial Day Parade. I'm not always in the best health to get to walking, so I appreciate all you, my colleagues who went to the parade. I heard it was nice, and I felt bad, but my bed felt good. And so, in the last couple of weeks, I've been going to a lot of affairs. I actually went to a prom on Friday. No, Friday. Yes, Friday. I went to Heritage 2020's prom. And I mean, they was dressed to kill. You think Saginaw High until the adults, the young people had a prom, these older people had a prom. And it was given by a young lady named Lolo Reed. A high school student. They got caught up in the COVID, so they didn't have a prom. So they came back 3 years later to have their prom. It was fabulous. I just sat there all night oohing and ahhing because they were so impressive. I also went to an 8th grade prom at a charter school. Little bit different because they do the little shake and break and drop it down and drop it like it's hot. And can't do that no more. And so, and looking at their attire versus the adults' attire versus the young people attire, I can see where we all got our trends from. We didn't want to dress like our parents, so we wanted to be like everybody else. As for Juneteenth, I appreciate Ms. Hawkins. I appreciate everybody. Anybody, please understand, I love people. And in loving people, I love what I do. I say it all of the time. We are nothing but servants. We're here to serve the community. My public speakers, I wish I had a magic wand and could get the money to get these grasses cut. And trust me, it bothers me too. I got groundhogs in my yard. I'm not a bug. I got them in my yard. I got the skunks and all the other little critters. One of the things that I'd love for all of us to do is, I know that we have to complain, but sometimes, can you bring me some solutions? Can you bring me some solutions? When public speakers come, it's important that we get our points out. I'm watching this clock. It's important that you get your points out. When I vote no, I'm voting no because if we're not going to extend everybody's time, I'm not extending anybody's time. That was time just right there. Just right, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. We are now at reports from the manager.
City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First item I want to mention is the pension grant application. So we've been getting calls from all of our legislators in the Department of Treasury. Yes, we've been aware that we're eligible for that, and yes, our application is in. So went in, we were just waiting for, I think, a resolution from the last meeting to be finalized by the clerk. So that is in. Second item, we did have several structure fires last week that were, our firefighters had to go out to, and every one of those calls is dangerous for the firefighters. So I want to thank the firefighters as well as our neighboring communities who assisted through mutual aid. We had, I think, Bay City Fire Department here on 2 of those. Buena Vista Fire helped us, and then they had a fire, I think, a few days later that we had assisted on too. So that's the reason for the burn ban that was called by the fire chief and the fire marshal. And remember, that includes residential burning and also fireworks. Fireworks are not legal right now anyway, but it's unfortunate that, you know, any spark with as dry as it is can cause a house fire or a ground fire that can spread, and that is can be up to a $1,000 fine for people violating that. So make sure everyone is aware of that. And we do have 2 presentations on the agenda tonight, so I want to bring those 2 groups up as quickly as possible. And tonight's agenda, we do have the acceptance of the donation of the Native American Land Acknowledgement marker for Ojibway Island. The donation comes from Saginaw Valley State University, who has worked on the creation of this marker since 2020 in collaboration with the Marshall Fredericks Sculpture Museum and several other organizations, including Art Bridges Foundation, Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe of Michigan, and the Ojibway Project. The marker will be placed at the footbridge entrance of Ojibway Island to honor Native American inhabitants who first populated this region. The marker will specifically acknowledge the indigenous peoples whose land the city of Saginaw resides on. And tonight we have Megan McAdow, Director of the Marshall M. Fredericks Sculpture Museum, to unveil the marker and to share the important information included.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a little background for you all and, of course, be available for questions. So my name is Megan McAdow, as Tim said, and I'm director at the Marshall Fredericks Sculpture Museum located on the campus of SVSU. The museum first became involved in this project more specifically last fall when we hosted an art exhibition called Rethinking Monuments. And that featured a range of sculptures dating back to the 1900s to present day. We received a $10,000 grant from the Art Bridges Foundation to do a community engagement project that related to the exhibition. The museum then partnered with a local grassroots group called the Ojibway Project to host community conversations throughout the city to hear directly from Saginaw residents about their relationship to the island and if they would like to see some sort of new monument there. The idea of adding a Native American land acknowledgement marker was the overwhelming result of those conversations. Conversation locations included the Castle Museum, the Mexican American Cultural Center, the Houghton Jones Neighborhood Association, and New Christ Community Church, among others. Nearly 100 Saginaw residents participated in these conversations and provided feedback on the Native American land acknowledgement for Ojibway Island. For those not familiar with land acknowledgements, they serve several different purposes, including increased awareness to the history of our area, and as well as educational information. This particular land acknowledgement was written for us by the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe of Michigan, and they represent the Anishinaabe peoples and the tribes that comprise the Three Fires Alliance, which more specifically are the Chippewa, Ojibway, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi, whose ancestral homeland included the Saginaw area. In addition to providing this land acknowledgement in both English and Anishinaabe Mauen, the marker includes information about their family clan animals, also indigenous to the area. I don't think there's a groundhog, though. Our hope is that park visitors of all ages would enjoy learning about this culture, and that school and youth groups might integrate this information into field trips to the park. The marker was fabricated here in Saginaw and is 8 feet tall, 6 feet wide, with 2 additional side panels that are each 3 feet wide. The design and fabrication also allow for additional information to be added, as well as the ability to remove and/or replace panels if the city ever wanted to change or update any of the information. It is, of course, designed for the elements and ready to be installed upon council approval. This project, as mentioned, engaged many partners. Again, the Art Bridges Foundation, the Zebawing Center of Anishinaabe Culture and Lifeways, Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe of Michigan, the Catholic Diocese of Saginaw, and Ojibway Project. So I just want to thank all of you for your consideration to this donation to the City of Saginaw from the Marshall M. Frederick Sculpture Museum.
Do we have any questions?
Yes. Is that the only place for the Marshall Field Sculpture places at Saginaw Valley?
I'm sorry, what woman?
The museum at Saginaw Valley, Marshall? Is that the only one in the country there at Saginaw Valley?
The Marshall Frederick Sculpture Museum? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, one of 7 single artist museums in the country, I believe.
Any other questions?
Just a comment.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for putting all this. I was excited to hear about this tonight because it was a young gentleman that came to talk to us when the whole thing started with some of our city residents. And it's exciting for me because I am Chippewa. It was exciting to see Chief Shopanagon when he was inducted to the Saginaw Hall of Fame. That was a wonderful opportunity for me to talk to some of the residents from the reservation. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see it go up, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Questions?
Oh, thank you to the Saginaw Valley State University for working on this, and the team there at the Marshall Fredericks Museum. And when I met with them to talk about this, we did talk about other possibilities for the future too, where we could envision expanding the walkway on the island to include additional Native American cultural education. So I think there's a potential future there, and look forward to doing some of that. Okay. And our second presentation is...
Can I just say this? You left too quick. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was quite informative. I'm sorry.
Thank you. And our second presentation is from a group of young students from the Saginaw Career Complex, and they have a presentation ready for okay to say. I had something written up here, but I think I'll just hand it over to them to describe it to you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Thank you, Council, for allowing my team to be here. I'm Mike Wiltsey. I'm your public safety instructor at the Saginaw Career Complex. The start of this fall, community service is so important in our public safety education. And these 3 students right here knew that this okay to say message with school violence that's happening not only around us in our state and our country, the message to get to 4th and 5th graders and their peers about being comfortable with when they see something wrong to say something. And the Say, OK to Say platform designed by the state police is a great message. And so the past 5 months, they've gone through our schools and fourth and fifth graders and have promoted the OK to Say message. And now what I'm here really proud to say is you can see their red coats. They're members of Skills USA, which is a competitive group. At the Saginaw Career Complex, we don't have football teams and basketball teams. We have career and technical competitions. And so my team right here took this another step, and they put together a presentation to talk about what they have done. They won our regional competition, they won our state competition, and in 3 weeks, they're gonna represent the city of Saginaw and the state of Michigan in a national competition in Atlanta, Georgia. And they're so proud, and they wanna share a little bit about what they've done over this past school year. So they're gonna take it from here.
Hello, I'm Caitlin Pittman. I'm Cameron Aka.
And I'm Noah Spanigal.
And this is our community service project. Now, if you had the opportunity to save just one life, would you take it? We would. That's why we chose OK to Say as our community service competition, to save just one life.
The OK to Say program was started by the Attorney General's Office and Bill Schuette in September of 2014 as part of the Safe Schools Initiative.
OK to Say is a Michigan student safety program. It's designed to empower Michigan students, parents, school personnel, community mental health service programs, and local law enforcement to share and respond to Michigan student safety threats.
Our goals and objectives regarding OK to Say is that we want to inform students on how to submit anonymous tips or talk to trusted adults about what's going on in their schools, and to let them know that they have an outlet to communicate any bullying or potential violence or possibly suicide threats, which is a big, common problem in teens nowadays. So. And the main purpose of us spreading this message is to prevent something horrific like the Oxford school shooting from happening again. That affected a lot of people in our community, and it traumatized a lot of individuals. And if they knew they had OK to Say as an outlet, that possibly could have de-escalated that situation. So far this year, there have been 275 school shootings, according to the gun violence file. And hopefully, with us spreading the message of OK to Say and how to use it, those numbers could go down in the future.
We teamed up with our local Michigan State Police, and I had the opportunity to interview one of them. This is my interview with Michigan State Community Service Officer, Trooper Christopher Kustra.
So, OK to Say has 4 options that you can contact them. You can call, email, text, or visit their website to fill out an online tip form. The app is available on the App Store and Google Play for free. We incorporated the Skills USA framework by using technical skills, communication skills, and workplace skills in our presentations.
These are the pictures with law class and other representatives of OK to Say. We teamed up with Michigan State Community Service Officer Trooper Christopher Kustra and Sergeant First Class Barnes from the Michigan National Guard.
This is us working on our poster boards and receiving merchandise from Christine Cody, who is the ambassador of OK to Say. And we took the poster boards that we created and the merchandise with us to our presentations to the 4th and 5th graders.
This is the email confirming our upcoming presentation with Mrs. Pittman, the 4th grade teacher at Peace Lutheran School.
We impacted our community in so many ways. Here are some ways of how we did it.
This was our first presentation to the 4th and 5th graders at Peace Lutheran Elementary School, and we taught them the difference between mean, rude, and bullying using a fun Kahoot. And we also had them engage in 2 skits that taught them the difference between not telling a trusted adult and telling a trusted adult whenever something is going wrong.
I used to attend Peace Lutheran School from preschool till 8th grade. It was really impactful for me and the students to give back to my old school in a way I never had when I went there. Mrs. Pittman explained in her letter of recommendation to us that our Kahoot game and 2 skits really impacted the students and taught them the differences between mean, rude, and bullying behavior. Peace Lutheran Ministries posted us on their Instagram page, so now 342 more people are impacted by the message of OK to Say.
This was our 10th grade presentation where we gave our presentation to the 10th graders that came into SEC to see the possible career paths they could go into. We also handed out merchandise to them, and we had them follow our OK to Say Instagram to learn more about OK to Say and how to use it.
We teamed up with one of our other partners, the American Spirit team. They helped us spread the message of OK to Say to our students and parents at our open house. And we handed out merchandise and also explained to them what OK to Say was and how to use it.
This was our Saginaw ISD presentation where we presented to the Saginaw Youth Ambassadors. We did our same presentation there and handed out more merchandise, and we also had them follow our Instagram as well.
The Saginaw ISD posted us on many of their social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, and their newsletter.
Our local Saginaw Advisory Committee stopped by the Saginaw Career Complex to listen to our presentation. We explained to them what OK to Say was and how it was used.
This was our presentation to Mary Drew, who is one of the co-founders of OK to Say, and she was so impressed with how we were presenting to other people in our community that she wants to start a pilot program where other kids who are just like us around schools can present to other 4th and 5th graders and younger children as well to get the message across. We also, as a part of our media, we put stickers on the Saginaw Career Complex buses to help spread the message in OK to Say, and we influence over 1,000 students daily with our bus messages. And this is just pictures of us doing that.
We impacted our school in so many ways just as much as our community. This is the ways of how we did it.
At SEC, we held an OK to Say day where students went on a Zoom meeting with Christine and Cody to learn the importance of OK to Say. After the meeting, during our break, we handed out free cookies and OK to Say merchandise with the help of Christopher and Kustro. And this is the questionnaire we had after the Zoom meeting to see the impactfulness of the meeting.
There were 3 classes that attended our Zoom meeting that day. Medical careers, careers in education, and culinary, where we explained to them what OK to Say was.
At 8th grade day, we also set up a booth and handed out Lifesaver candy and OK to Say merchandise. Spread the message of OK to Say to the 8th graders.
As a part of our competition, we have to have promotional materials, and some of our promotional materials are tear-off papers where it has OK to Say contact information so students know how to contact OK to Say.
These are the posters that we put up in the classrooms and in the bathrooms to spread awareness about OK to Say and how to use it.
With the help of the graphic arts team, we made a poster board that we used in our presentations, and we handed out informational cards to students.
As a part of our publicity for this competition, we created an OK to Say Instagram account, and just recently we reached 107 followers, which is past our goal of 100. So now even students outside of SEC can learn that it is OK to say.
The community service team wrote a newsletter wrote a review for the newsletter, sharing all the stuff we have done with OK to Say, including the presentation to the 4th and 5th graders at Peace Lutheran School and OK to Say Day.
This is a picture of us after our regional competition. The judges that were there were members of the Saginaw Police, and the Saginaw Police Department posted us on their Instagram page. These are the results of what we did for OK to Say.
These are the Michigan's 2021 annual statistics, where the most common tip was planned school attacks, with the statistics being 1,786 tips about planned school attacks. And hopefully with us spreading the message of OK to Say, those numbers could drastically go down in the future.
These are our results. For the total number of community impact was 3,555,323, and the total for school impact was 5,886. And the overall total was 361,239 people impacted. Our main goal of this presentation was to at least save one life. and by impacting over 300,000 people, we have hope to a better goal.
Be a lifesaver. It's okay to say.
Don't go anywhere. I need you to come back, because now we have to ask you questions.
Okay.
Do we have any questions? Yes, sir.
First, I would like to say this is awesome. Really, and I say it from the perspective of police departments spend a lot of time and energy when they have schools in their community to send officers into the schools to do what it is that you're doing. And I think it is far more impactful to have you doing it, even if it's with the assistance of police, but to have students going in talking to younger students because they can see that just in a few years they'll be in your same position. And I think that is far more impactful than having someone in a uniform. We would like to think, uniforms would like to think we're, touching lives and hearts like that, but I think this is great. And Mr. Wilsey, I'll be giving you a call because I have so many more questions, man.
Councilwoman Sylvia.
Thank you all so very much. I hope you weren't intimidated by us looking at you, but your information was so good, so helpful. My question is, do you see yourself in some more schools? Are you planning to go in to other schools?
Well, see, the thing about that is our competition is in a couple of weeks for the national competition, and it doesn't go past nationals for community service. So since the school year is ended and some schools are about to be ended, we can't really impact any more kids, which is unfortunate, but if we had the opportunity, we definitely would have.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of course.
And so, can you talk a little bit more about the app itself, and how they can use that?
So, on Google Play or on the Apple App Store, there is an OK to Say app that can be downloaded, and there is a platform on that app where you can submit an anonymous tip.
Okay.
And within that anonymous tip, a certified person working with the law enforcement, right?
Okay.
Working with law enforcement would pick up on that tip and send it to their school district, depending on what that tip was. And it's all confidential, so no names would be released and no kids would feel like they would get in trouble for saying anything. So it's all confidential and anonymous.
That's a really good point, the anonymous part of it. I'm gonna download the app just so I can check it out. And my hat's off to you guys. I know it's hard to get up there and speak. I still get nervous sitting here. So, and I was sitting here and I was thinking to myself, look, these three young leaders are impacting people in what you're doing. I mean, I can say what Councilman Williams was saying. I'm blown away by what you guys have put together. Congratulations, by the way, on your accomplishments, and good luck in the competition. But my spouse also is a Saginaw School Board member. And I don't know if he knows about this yet, but he's going to hear about it when I get home. And I know he's going to be very clued in. He taught U.S. history at Carleton for 30 years. And so again, this is something I'm going to take back, and hopefully he can talk to his colleagues about it too and try and get that word out. Because I do believe it's okay to say, so thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to make a comment as well. You guys are doing a great job and great work in the community. Being brave, being so young, and taking this initiative, because this is a big epidemic that is going on. I know when I was in middle school, we had a scare. Thank God nothing happened, but we went on lockdown. And this was right before Columbine. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? And people were knocking on the doors as a joke because we were on lockdown, that we're still wandering. So, people are still scared. You can't even go into grocery stores and you see people are getting killed. So this is an epidemic for anybody. I don't think just in schools, but in general, So that's great. And then I'm gonna follow your page, and I'm gonna share that on one of my community alerts, because on my Facebook, that's what I make everybody aware of what's going on in their surroundings in the community. So thank you for sharing this with us. I appreciate it.
Yes, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much for this presentation. It was great, you guys and girls. With the potential, when do you guys actualize that? So it was 350,000 potential lives changed through social media, and then there was other objectives after that. Are you able to quantify that, or to kind of understand that fully?
We're not able to make that into a definitive number just because of the fact that our SEC newsletter is only it's kind of, what's the right word I'm looking I don't know how else to describe it other than they don't know the actual numbers themselves. Like, they can't quantify that amount of data. It's just up for people to look at whenever they want to, but they don't record it. So we can't figure out the actual numbers. It's just based on how many people they think are looking at it throughout that year. So that definitely impacts our numbers. Yeah.
Great.
Websites
Mm-hmm.
that the message was on, that they were part of, daily clicks on the different websites.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
I need to, let all the council persons know, prior to them coming, before they even talk to us, I got a thank you card, and you to be commended. The work that you do is important. That's why I tell people, all ages can help. I agree with my fellow colleagues, especially Councilman Williams. You could probably go into schools if you were allowed to, and make a lot of different changes, because people can relate to you, the young people. They see us coming and they see intimidation, they see uniforms, they see all of this. But you three, I was flabbergasted. I said, what is this? And I got three young people, okay, to say, sent the thank you card before they even said it. So you guys, keep up the good work. I wish you the best of luck in your competition. I'm sure that you're gonna bring us back a winner. Anyone else? Thank you so much.
We also have stuff to give you.
We like gifts.
Start on that, start on that.
Yeah, we'll just let them know. Fuck. Here, pass it down. Y'all read it, and then I'll pass it the other way.
Oh, Jesus.
Thank you.
You did a great job.
So is this your uniform? Young people, is this your uniform that you'll be wearing? Yeah. Well, we need to get you some Saginaw pins.
Yep.
Is Miss Vicky in here?
Nice.
Thank you to the students from SCC, and it's a good reminder of all the programs that they do have over there that are involved in the Skills USA Challenge and what's available for students that can lead to any number of careers. Thank you to them, and Madam Mayor, that concludes the management update.
Thank you. Please don't leave before we get you what I wanted to give you three before you leave, okay? Thank you. Too cold.
Where can you get more of these?
The question was, can we help you pass these out, or is it just for you guys? I guess it's the instructor as well. The question was from Councilwoman Garcia, where can we get more of these at in our travels and when we're out and about to hand them to people?
I can make a phone call and get some.
Can you do that for us? Thank you so much. And some of the brochures.
Are they in the public school district?
Yeah.
Why not?
Just started.
Okay,
We will make sure.
okay.
Oh, they went to Peaceville too, but they go to COC. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, City Manager. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, we are now at the consent agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Vicky. The agenda has been available on, excuse me. The agenda has been available at City Hall and on the city webpage and on SGTV Channel 191. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, leaving room for exceptions. It's been moved in second.
Who moved it?
One of us.
What, either moved, either.
I didn't hear her. I heard Williams second. So
I was saying, so moved as he said
Okay.
second.
Do we have any exceptions?
Yes.
Yes.
Item number 1, thank you, Mayor.
Councilwoman.
Item number 3.
1 and 3, are there any more exceptions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Item number 1, approve the May 22nd, 2023 regular council meeting minutes. That was Councilmember Flores.
Thank you. For the miscellaneous business, it states that moved by Councilmember Lamar Sylvia, and seconded by myself, to have the city manager, I'm sorry, I got this lifesaver in my mouth, but look at options for visible time clock. That was never a motion. That was just a recommendation made by Councilman Williams, and then we went straight into, I reviewed the tape, and I'm just saying that it's incorrect. I know, but I'm saying that it went straight into the other vendor issue and then to DARS, but it was never a motion. I never seconded that, so I'm just motioning to strike that from the minutes to make it more accurate.
I even asked Councilmember Sylvia if she was going to make that a motion, and she said yes. And I thought,
But,
maybe it was George.
It was
But it-
Councilman Williams that brought it up. The timestamp is 2 hours and 8 minutes. And then it was a joke about if it costs less than $2,000, which the manager made, and then there was no motion after that. They recommended to look into it. I've watched it over a couple times. I'm sorry about.
I did too. Flores, so I think we're,
Well, I would just motion to postpone until we can get clarification on the issue. But that is, to my assessment, not accurate. So I motion to postpone this vote until the next meeting.
You motion to postpone what to the next meeting?
approval of the minutes.
Yeah, approval of the minute.
All the minutes?
All of the minutes?
Yeah, the minutes is one document.
That's right. It's a motion on the floor to, say it again. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk.
To postpone the approval of the minutes for May 22nd, 2020 until the next regular meeting. Is that your motion?
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Yes.
All I'd like to do is just have some more clarification on exactly, I got a little confused. So if we could just go back through with what you were stating to postpone for, that's it. I'm confused at the motion.
I believe that Councilmember Flores, you wanted to postpone the approval of the minutes, correct, until the next regular meeting. And he has a question on the first motion under miscellaneous business. That's how I understand it. Mayor, I believe he wants to speak.
Is that Councilman Flores?
Thank you, Mayor. Yep, that's correct. The original, there's no motion. It was a recommendation made by Councilman Williams after hearing a recommendation from Councilwoman Lamar Sylvia, but I never seconded that motion, and then we never did a vote on it, so there was no actual vote. And then it went into the joke by the mayor, the city manager about the $2,000 less, and then it went into the vendor issue, and then to DARS, but there was never any motion, so that's for the record, that's all.
Council, yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. I would just like to point out that the draft council minutes were received from Clerk Santos on 5/25, so 2 days after the meeting. These concerns could have been easily addressed and clarification could have been provided had we actually read the minutes and communicated with staff. So with that, I would call the question. And I will be voting no on the motion to postpone it.
There's a motion to call the question. There's a motion on the floor. Madam Clerk, can we get clarification?
There's a motion to call the question. You do not have a second.
I'll second it.
It's been moved in second. Now we're calling for the question, right?
Yes.
All those in favor signify.
There's no discussion on calling.
I'm
There's
sorry.
no discussion on this motion.
Right.
Okay.
No, we go right into the vote. Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed,
Nay.
Councilmember Ostache,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
No.
Councilmember Copeland is absent, Councilmember Sylvia,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Balls,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bench,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
yes.
We have 7 yes, 1 nay. Your motion is approved. Now we go back to the main motion to postpone. Now you take your vote on that.
No more discussion. All those in favor of postponing, approving the minutes. Am I correct, Madam Clerk? That's the motion.
Motion to postpone the minutes till the next regular meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes at our next meeting. No more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed?
No.
Nay. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Garcia,
No.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Copeland is absent, Councilmember Sylvia.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
No.
Councilmember Balls,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Bench,
No.
Councilmember Ostache,
No.
Mayor Moore.
No.
We have 2 yes and, sorry. 6. 6 no, your motion is denied.
Motion to approve item number 1.
Second.
It's been moved to second. Hearing no more discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Flores,
Nay.
Copeland is absent, Councilmember Sylvia,
No.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Councilmember Balls,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bench,
Yes.
Councilmember Ostache,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
You have 6 yes and 2 no, motion is approved. Item number 3, approve the transfer of city-owned properties to the Saginaw County Land Bank for the price of $1 each. Councilmember Sylvia.
Thank you so much. It's more or less a question and understanding in regards to that. And I'm looking at the properties, and I'd just like to ask the city manager, these properties, were they also, first of all, were any citizens asked to purchase any of these properties? And would they also be charged $1 to obtain these particular properties? I don't know if they're lots, houses, or what, but.
Typically, if we have a city-owned property and we have a resident, somebody who is interested in that property, we have to sell it per market value. So generally, a lot will be anywhere, I'm working with another person who would like to buy one, it was about $1,700. The land bank, once they own a property, have less strict regulations, and they actually generally sell, particularly side lots in residential areas, for about $100, $150. So it's extremely under what we would be able to sell. These are commercial properties on South Washington. There was a slew of them that the city owns. We do have to pay property taxes on our own property, and we have no public use for them.
So has any citizens or other persons asked about these properties?
No.
Okay, and so when the land bank takes ownership of these, will they be asked to keep those properties up? Or can they just be allowed to, let them go and not board them up? As what citizens in the city of Saginaw are asked to keep up properties that they purchase, whether it be vacant lots or whether they be have a business or a home on the property. It seems like, it doesn't seem like it is, like difference for the land bank as it is for the citizens that own those properties.
The properties are all vacant land, and the land bank does mow so much back, 5 feet back from the sidewalk.
And is that the same thing that the citizens, if they own that property, a vacant lot, can they do that same amount, 4 feet, 5 feet? Or do they have to mow the entire lot?
I'm not really sure.
Well,
how to
generally, if
answer
a
that.
citizen owned a vacant lot, it would be concurrent to their property. That's usually the rule to sell them, so they generally wouldn't even want to mow just 5 feet back. The reason, and it goes back a long, long time with our mowing that right-of-way is for viewing primarily. And the reason why we do that is because, and the land bank does it, is because of the number of properties. We can barely mow our parks right now, just because of the funding that's available and the number of people we have. Even if we had enough funding, which would probably be another $1 to $2 million, we usually estimate, to mow all of these, we wouldn't be able to hire enough people to do it. So generally, when a citizen is buying these, it will be offered to each person, each side of the lot. And I think the land bank usually splits it, and if one person doesn't want it, but generally they're adding to their yard, so they're gonna treat it the same way they treat their own lawn, typically.
Thank you. Motion to accept.
Second.
It's been moved to second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, we are now at board, commission, and committee reports.
Okay, I have, at the last meeting, it was asked, well, I was directed to pick a committee to work on the order of business. I went back and forth with this. So who I picked is Councilwoman Garcia, Councilman Williams, and Mayor Pro Tem Bench to sit with the understanding that this committee is not making final decisions. The information will be brought back to the body, and we all will discuss it. And if you've got anything that you want to submit, please submit it in. Now, I did it based on the people that asked. I know I had a couple people that asked. And so I don't like being in that spot because I really want all of y'all to work on this. But I can't do that. So that's my recommendation. Garcia, Williams, and Bench.
I got a question.
Yes.
Is these the same rules that we get from the clerks that you're talking about going on?
We're talking about some of those, in our order of business, how we run stuff, some of that has been changed. And then a lot of them go way back to when council first started. And so they're just taking a look at what possibly, and bring suggestions back on things that we should change. And they'll be working with staff on that. That is not something that this body can do without the assistance of the city.
I was just concerned. I didn't know that are we having problems with the city council with following the rules or something like that? Or what?
Yes. There are some times when we do get disorderly, and I'll accept our own minds, but everybody else needs to own their responsibility or the role that they play in it as well, like being disrespectful, just blurting out. And so it's really just a refresher for all of us. And so if you looked at them, because I've heard people say, well, that's not in the rules. Okay, so we need to figure out what we need to put in these rules. And again, it is not the 8 of us, 9 of us that's gonna do it. We have staff that'll help. But the 3 people I pick will come up with stuff with the help of the rest of us. But then we're gonna talk about it at the table. Whatever they decide is not the final edged in stone. Yes, Madam Clerk.
If I may, Mayor,
Yes.
thank you. To briefly answer your question, yes, you do get it in the orientation packet book, and this is the council rules of order. The last amendment was made April 26th of 2021 for virtual meetings and that. So that was just one section that was amended at that time. I believe the motion that was made and approved was to review it in a totality. Maybe there's gonna be changes recommended, maybe there won't be.
Right.
But it's just a review, is my understanding, if that helps you.
Yeah, it helps me. I didn't know that we really needed it. I'm just surprised. So, I'm just saying, if the mayor has the gavel, and if something getting out of line, she got a right to straighten everything out. So if she haven't been straightening everything out that's wrong, then what is the problem? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, if people want to take their time and do that, I guess that's on them, but I don't see no issue with it. I mean, she got a gavel right there. If somebody's doing something wrong, beat the damn gavel and tell them to beat the quiet up so we can know what the rules are. And tell them what the rules are so we can keep it moving. But if you guys want to spend your time with doing that, that'll be on y'all. Thank God I ain't on that committee. I don't want to be on the committee because I think it's a waste of time.
Yes, Councilman Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. Is it just the committee of the 3 council members, or would there be additional staff on the committee?
It will be, I thought I explained that, it will be the 3 council persons, our clerk and our attorney.
Okay.
And they will look at the rules, and if you got some suggestions or something that you want to change, we can talk about it. And, we send it through the group, but then we come back as a body. No decision is made from 3 people. It takes all 9 of us to say yes or no.
Would we be able to sit in on the committee hearings or meetings?
The only problem with that is that we don't want to get into that point to where we've got more than allowed, because we're discussing business. So I would probably say no, because they're going to bring it back to us.
Would the recommendation to make recommendations just be before or after they meet, or how did you kind of want to facilitate?
What do you mean?
So if we're going to have the committee, and if we want to make recommendations like you had invited us to do,
Okay.
would it be after or before the meeting? Or
If you got something that you want to change, I suggest that you get it in now so that it can be on the table, so that there can be some recognizing that this is a concern of Councilman Flores.
Okay.
So I would suggest that you get it in as soon as possible. Anybody.
Okay, but there's no time limits on before or after?
Pardon me?
There would be no time limits on before or after they meet about the recommendations?
Councilman
My
Flores.
guess is that there will probably be more than one meeting of this committee. I
Right.
think
It's gonna be more than
Mayor
one.
Pro Tem Bench said this would be a review conducted over the next 6 months. So,
So we didn't have to get them in before, because there's going to be continued meetings to get them in before and after the meetings.
as Mayor indicated, it's probably better if you get them in earlier than later. But if you have ideas, I would simply email them to the 3 council members that are.
I would rather see you get them in. So if you got some changes that you'd like to see made, you need to submit them so that they can take a look at it. And then if they've got questions, they could always get with you so that you can explain why the change is necessary. And we take it. We take it from there. Yes, Councilman Ostash.
I think to kind of help this out, we should have a deadline for them. Just, they can come up with that. If it's 2 weeks, say over the next 2 weeks, get them in, and that's it.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. So I think the first step would be to either ask the clerk, or I think I have the most current copy, but have the entire council be provided the current copy of our rules. And then we can review it and allow the committee to find a date to meet, and then we can figure out a time frame for people submitting. Some of our rules are set by state law, some of them are dictated by our choosing, others are we default to Robert's Rules of Order. We can sit down and figure that all out and incorporate the concerns people have, so we can look at and see if, somebody has a concern, but it's dictated to us by the state that we have to do it that way, then we can kind of weed out the concerns that way. But we'll make sure that the community, the work group communicates with the council, so they have an opportunity to share feedback before we meet that can be incorporated into the group's discussion.
Okay, like I said earlier, this group, I'm gonna get you, Councilwoman Sylvia. This group is not making final decisions. It was asked to do it. You may get into the room and find out nothing needs to be changed, or add like we did with the Zooms. And so, we need to move on. Councilwoman Sylvia.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to get an understanding. The question was asked, could it be set, can those meetings be set in on? Would that be a violation of the Open Meetings Act not to allow people to sit in on the meeting? That would be the first question. And the next one is, I thought I read, and I could be wrong, I stand to be corrected, I thought this was gonna go on over a 6-month period. Somewhere I read that. Am I wrong? I know I read that. So,
The initial, the conversation came up, can we take a look at it? I don't remember a time frame. Did you set a time frame?
Yes,
6 months?
for us to work on it over the next 6
Yes.
months. 'Cause
Also, to work on it for
Yes.
the next 6 months?
yes.
Okay.
So so if it's gonna be 6 months, when would the first meeting, Madam Mayor, when is the first meeting?
That is something that the staff, and they need to
Okay.
check with the committee members to see availability,
Okay.
okay? So there is
Still
a
need my
time
other
frame.
question answered.
I'm sorry.
I still need my other question answered about the
Question
Open
about
Meeting Act.
the open
There's
meeting.
no, a meeting of a work group such as this, less than a quorum of council where no decisions can be made, would not be a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
So they're not allowing people that wanna sit in. That's not a
Having additional
violation.
council members attend, pushing it towards a quorum, could create an Open Meetings Act issue.
But, okay, here's the problem, well, my concern. If they're just there, and they're not, having any input in what the three in that, meeting are doing, why would that be a violation if they're just there to observe and not have any input?
That has not been my experience in the past.
What do you mean?
That typically the members who want to attend and be involved in the work group want to be involved in the work group or committee or other activities.
So I'm saying is, I don't know, if another council member or members want to sit in and they're not involved in the discussion, is that any kind of violation? That's all I want to know.
Yes.
Potentially, yes, because you still could have a quorum there. And just like at a council meeting, you have a quorum, but not everybody might participate in the discussion.
Thank you.
And you can't prove that you were just there to observe. I mean, that wouldn't go to report. If you have that many in a room, that's a quorum. Just by being in the room.
So it's 3, but the number is 5.
I'm good.
Councilman Balls.
You know, if I was the mayor and they brought this up, I would really be extremely offended. If you think I haven't been running these damn meetings right, and all of a sudden we need to have a damn meeting to teach everybody the rules that we got pamphlets of. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. If the mayor's not doing a good job, then maybe she should be the only one to go in there so she can learn the rules, so she can dictate the rules to the meeting. But for everybody else to sit down with a committee to find out what the damn rules, it don't make no sense. It's a waste of damn time. Y'all getting ridiculous up in here. Don't make no damn sense.
But Councilmember Balls, I don't believe it's a training of the rules. It's a review of the rules of the
All they got to
order.
do is read their book.
Yep,
Shit, it's a waste of time.
I agree.
Councilwoman, I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem.
I'm just going to point out that we just had a council member swear repeatedly during his comments. And all of this was discussed, decided, and voted upon at the last meeting. I believe it was unanimous, even though there was some confusion. And this was decided by the entire council. And I want to be very clear. I have concerns about the way this council has conducted itself. I made that very clear in my comments last time, and no one should ever misconstrue my comments as an insult or a slag at Mayor Moore.
Yes, sir.
I just want to reiterate what Mayor Pro Tem is saying, because that was not my thought on this either. I think it's good to kind of look things over once in a while and put things through a review. I sit on boards of nonprofits, and we audit ourselves for financials, and so this is just something that we are going to look at. I think the mayor has made it extremely clear that we, 9 people sitting here, will finally discuss it in the end. So I support it. I support my mayor. Thank you.
I just want to make.
Yes.
I just want to make a comment. Thanks for allowing me to be on this committee. I am new, so I shouldn't say I'm new, but anyway, just to learn everything, how it goes, because some things are out of order and it needs to be addressed. And everybody wants to be treated with respect, so by storming out and then throwing a fit, that does not look good. You know, we are professional people that sit here because we're elected. We need to do our job, and we need to handle it professionally, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Are there any other reports, Mayor? I think we need to stay on
Are there
track
any
and
other,
not get into this
are there
other
any
discussion.
other boards or commission report?
No. It's on the agenda.
Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. We are at ordinance introduction. Our first one is an ordinance to amend section 150.01, agency designated, of Building Code of Title 15, Land Usage.
I need a motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved to second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
I just want to ask who seconded that motion, because I heard 2.
Stash.
I came after you.
Okay, thank you, Rich. Our second ordinance tonight is to amend sections 153, 505, 507, 508, 509, 520, 521, 510, 511, 512, 513, 514, 515, 516, 517, 519, set forth in this subchapter of Title Floodplain District of Chapter 153 Zoning Code of Title 15 Land Usage.
Can I just go back up? I didn't say this, and I don't know if I need to have it in a minute. That this ordinance, that the ordinance that we passed prior will be laid over under charter provisions. I didn't say that. Okay. So, we have I need a motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Again, this ordinance is to lay over per the zoning act. Madam Clerk.
We are now at miscellaneous business. You do have an item here, and it is to receive and file the recommendation report from the Local Officers Compensation Commission.
I need a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Your second item is to approve the expanded food feasibility study funded through the American Rescue Plan Act.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
May I ask for any other motions?
Are there any motions on the floor? Yes.
It's not a motion, it's under miscellaneous, but I just wanted to address, I don't know, probably city manager in regards to the frequent shootings and loss of life at 1944 East Genesee, which is also known as the Sunoco gas station. I'm just wondering, what are we gonna do, or what is some possibilities in regards to that particular business? Is that gonna be closed down, offered to be closed down, or what? I've seen businesses being shut down in the past, and I'm just really concerned about that corner and that address.
Mayor, is this gonna lead to a motion? I mean, she can present her questions to the manager during the report portion or by email after.
I wanted to do it now because miscellaneous is not just for motions, from what I read, but that might be a good reason to go over
That
the
is
council information.
Okay, so if I can help with this.
I just need an answer.
Can we get together? I mean, would you like to meet with him and you and him talk about it?
Yes, but whatever I have to say, I'd like everybody to hear it, but if that's what we need to do, fine. If he can answer it now, that's fine too.
Well, I can answer part of it now. if you want
Okay.
it, but
Thank you.
It's not really, it isn't the point in the meeting where you would do this, but this is, you are talking about an issue that is not just at one business. And I will tell you, because I see the police logs, Friday night, Saturday night, Thursday night, our police officers are being, a significant portion of their time is being dominated following groups of youth from parking lot to parking lot to parking lot. Closing the gas station would not have an impact on that activity. So it's something that's been happening for the past several years. Only way, I think, to address it is to enforce the laws that we have on the books. Council passed a number of ordinances before regarding curfews. The point that we are at now, though, is there are so many people that are gathering like that. Even with other agencies, it's difficult just to disperse the crowd. So, I'm happy to meet, and Chief and I were talking about this with some of the business owners in Old Town because it's impacting all of the businesses. So we'd be happy to work with you or anyone else on council who has ideas about how do you address this, because it's an ongoing problem. And it's not unique here, but the one business is not an issue with this.
Okay, yeah, we can set up a meeting, but one other thing in regards to that, is it with certain businesses mandated to have cameras?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
all of the businesses do. That's in the ordinance, and they have cameras. I'm not sure I believe they're in the parking lot and inside. Not sure what the range is, but yeah, they have to have their camera system inspected.
Okay, well, I'll set something up, I'll give you a call. Thank you so very much.
Did we get it answered?
I got
On
enough
what?
of it for now. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Need a motion to, I'm sorry, any other miscellaneous motions or anything to move forward?
I have some, but I'll save them.
Hearing none, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Go move.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Do not move until we vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Thank you.